So I want you to forget everything you think you know about chatbots, the ones that live and die inside a browser tab. We're about to dive into something completely different. This isn't really a tool you use. It's more like an employee you hire, a digital team member that's on the clock 24/7, always working to push your business forward. This is OpenClaw.
And that quote you see right there, that's not just some marketing hype. It's basically the mission statement for a whole new way of using computers. I mean, just imagine an assistant that doesn't just sit around waiting for your next command, but instead it's out there spotting trends, drafting content, and get this, even coding new features for your app while you're asleep.
All right, first, a quick bit of housekeeping on the name, because it can be confusing. You might have seen this project floating around as Clawdbot, or maybe even Maltbot for a hot minute. Don't let that throw you off. It's all the same incredible open source project. They finally landed on the name OpenClaw, so that's what we're talking about today.
So, what is it that makes this a true 24/7 employee and not just another clever piece of software? Well, it all boils down to one really important core concept. Think about how you use AI right now. You open a website, you have a conversation, and the second you close that tab, poof, the context is gone. It's a tool you pick up and then you put it down. OpenClaw is the exact opposite. It's what we call a persistent agent that lives right on your machine. It's always on, it's always learning, and it's always working.
And that one simple shift from a temporary tool to a persistent agent, well, that unlocks a whole set of abilities that are frankly a total game changer.
This slide just lays it out perfectly, the 3 huge leaps forward. First, you've got control. A normal chatbot is basically jailed inside your web browser. But OpenClaw, it has the keys to your entire computer. It can open apps, it can write code, it can manage your files. Second is memory. A chatbot, well, it has amnesia. Every conversation starts from scratch. OpenClaw remembers everything, building this deep, ever-growing understanding of you and your goals. And finally, the interface. You're not going to a website. It's coming to you through the messaging apps you're already on, like Telegram or WhatsApp. And look, this isn't some far-off future theory. It's actually happening right now. Check this out. A user set up an agent they named Henry. While its owner was sleeping, Henry's job was to monitor what was happening on X. It noticed that long-form articles were starting to get a lot of traction. So what did it do? It autonomously wrote the code to build a whole new article feature for its user's app and submitted it as a pull request, all ready for review in the morning. Nobody asked it to. It just saw an opportunity and acted. Now that is real initiative.
So how in the world do you unlock that kind of magic? Well, you don't just switch it on and cross your fingers. The secret is you have to onboard it, just like a new employee. You give it a massive brain dump, everything about your business, your projects, your goals. Then you set the expectation. You can literally tell it, I want you to be a proactive partner. I want you to look for ways to make my business better and my life easier. I want to wake up surprised.
Now, I know exactly what you're probably thinking. This sounds absolutely incredible, but I'm not a developer. This has to be super technical and complicated, right? Well, let's take a look at what it actually takes to get this thing up and running. It is so much simpler than you think. It really is just 3 simple steps. First, you copy one single line of code and you paste it into your computer's terminal. Boom, the software is installed. Second, you give it a brain by pasting in an API key from a service like OpenAI or Anthropic. And third, you connect it to a messaging app like Telegram so you can actually talk to it. That's it, you're done. You now have a 24/7 AI employee. And here's the part that just blows almost everyone away. You do not need some crazy high-end, super-powered computer for this. Not at all. All the heavy lifting, the AI model itself, that's all happening in the cloud. The little agent on your machine is incredibly lightweight. It'll run perfectly fine on any modern Mac, Windows, or Linux machine. Yeah, even that old laptop that's been collecting dust in your closet.
Okay, let's get real for a minute and talk about 2 crucial things, the actual cost and the very real security risks you need to think about. Because, yeah, the software is free, but that doesn't mean there aren't things to consider.
So your agent needs a brain, right? And that's the AI model you connect with that API key. This is where the cost comes in. You can get started with a really good value option like MiniMax for probably around $10 a month. If you want top-tier intelligence, the models from OpenAI or Anthropic might run you somewhere between $100 and $200, all depending on how much you use it. What's interesting is a lot of users say that the Claude models have the best personality, that they feel less like a tool and more like an actual colleague.
And that, of course, brings us to the giant elephant in the room. You are giving an AI full, total access to your computer. As one person put it, you're handing over the nuclear codes. So the million-dollar question is that safe? Look, the bottom line is you have to be smart about this. The risks are not a joke. A cleverly worded email, for example, could totally hijack your agent. That's called prompt injection. The key is to start with a leash, not with the keys to the kingdom. Don't give it your main email password and all your social media accounts on day 1. A really great way to start is to create a brand new email account just for your agent and only give it limited permissions. You build trust over time, just like you would with any human assistant. So when you take a step back from the how-to and you really look at the what, you realize this is so much more than just a clever piece of software.
What we're witnessing here is a fundamental shift in our entire relationship with technology. We're moving from a simple command and response model, where we ask and the AI answers, to a truly collaborative model, where these proactive agents are working right alongside us, anticipating what we need and creating opportunities we didn't even see.
And that leads us right here. Is this technology new? Yes. Are there risks? Absolutely. But with that risk comes this immense opportunity. The people who are leaning in right now, the ones who are safely and responsibly tinkering with these tools, they are putting themselves at the very forefront of the next big technological revolution.
So here's the final thought. This future of AI agents, it isn't some distant sci-fi movie concept anymore. It hasn't just knocked on the door. It's here. It's running on people's computers, and it's open source for anyone to try. The barrier to entry has never, ever been lower. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build with it?